Hi everybody, my name's Jason, and this is a preview of version 1 alpha of Blawx. Blawx is a user-friendly, web-based tool for encoding legislation in the rules as code methodology. So Blawx version 1 is an attempt to bring uh, the power of declarative logic programming to the task of rules as code by creating a tool that's easy to use, easy to learn, easy to deploy, and has some of the advanced features of declarative logic programming like explanations for answers and hypothetical reasoning, all in an open source, free to use tool. So we're going to create a workspace here called Mortality, and we're going to go into that workspace and into the code editor. So this is a drag and drop user interface. The way that you write your code is by grabbing these blocks on the left and dragging them into the workspace here. To begin with, the number of blocks available is relatively limited. It's not a long list, and these known categories are empty. Those will be filled in as you are writing your code with whatever things you describe. So the interface allows you to use the language that you're building as you go. So we're going to do the example that every person is mortal and Socrates is a person. So we're going to say first that there is a category of thing that we will call person. And you can see that as I type in this field, on the right side of the screen, the SCASP code is being generated live. So the block drag and drop interface is designed to be easy to use and easy to learn, but it is also designed to help people learn how to use the underlying programming language if they would like to do that. And if not, that's fine, because honestly, playing with puzzle pieces is more fun than typing anyway. So let's create a second category called mortal. And then let's explain that a thing in the person category is always also a thing in the mortal category. And you can see we now have these two known categories. So person goes there and mortal goes there. And now we need to say Socrates is a person because we've declared person as a category here. The objects menu now has a person declaration. So we drag this down and we say Socrates. And then our question is it true or not that Socrates is mortal? So we're going to go up into the primary. We're going to drag a query. Is it true that? And we're going to say, is it true that Socrates is in the category mortal? And of course, we have a known object called Socrates. Blawx is designed to avoid typing and thereby avoid typos. And we want to know if Socrates is in the category of mortal. So we'll just copy and paste a mortal block and stick it in there. And we're done. If we run this code, we get the answer Socrates is mortal because Socrates is a person. So it has used the rule that a person is immortal in order to calculate that Socrates is immortal, and it has explained that application of that rule, and it has done so in English. But we can also do hypothetical reasoning with Blawx. So let's get rid of the specific fact that Socrates is a person and remove the reference to Socrates there, and let's instead tell Blawx that it can assume that it may or may not be true that anything is a person. So we'll grab a variable here. And we will copy this person block and stick it there. And we can copy this variable and put it there. So now we have the rule, a person is immortal. We have the hypothetical assumption, something may or may not be in the category person. And we have the same question, is there anything in the category mortal? And if we run this code, you can see that it tells us, yeah, it is possible for something to be mortal if that same thing is a person. This is a lot of detail about how the assumption is working behind the scenes and needs to be cleaned up, but like I said, this is a preview. So we've got easy to use, easy to learn, we've got explanations, we've got hypothetical reasoning, but we also want to be able to deploy our code. We want it to be easy to use these encodings in other applications, and ideally over a web API. So the great news is that Blawx takes care of that for you. It does what I call zero-click deployment. So let's say this is our code base, right? We're going to include the fact so that we don't have to type anything into the JSON request. So right now, if you run this code inside the developer, it says Socrates is immortal because Socrates is a person. What we can do is we can just change the endpoint that we are looking at, and the Blawx server provides you with an API endpoint where you can run the same code with a post request and you can get the same answer, that Socrates is immortal. So that is a preview of version 1 of Blawx with hypothetical reasoning and natural language explanations. There's a lot more features to come, but I thought I would share this and maybe whet your appetite for when it gets published, probably next week. Thanks.